Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time today to join us for our second episode of STEM and STEAM activities at home or in the classroom. We're excited to share some great projects with you, and there will continue to be weekly episodes, so make sure to share this with your colleagues and others because we're going to be going over some great interactive, hands-on activities that you can easily integrate with your curriculum and engage with your students as well. With that being said, as attendees are still signing on to the webinar, I did want to mention to everyone how you can communicate with us today. You'll see on the webinar control panel, there is a questions tab. This is how you can ask questions, write comments, and interact with my colleague and me throughout this webinar. Also, for those that love taking notes because you feel like you might miss something, don't worry, we got you covered because we are recording this webinar and you'll have access to it about 2 hours after the presentation. I want to emphasize too that though that you'll be getting a survey to fill out at the end of this webinar. So please take the time to fill this out because we do use this feedback to improve our webinars. Now I'm going to pass this over to the presentation to Josh, who will be presenting the webinar.
I believe we're on. Okay. Are we on? Yeah, we're on. Yay. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh from Brown Dog Gadgets. We're just gonna wait a second. Oh, it is 3 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Yay, 3 o'clock. So hey, I'm Josh from Brown Dog Gadgets here with Nasco Education. Nasco Education. We have those all queued up for Nasco. We're here today to talk about some fun hands-on activities that you can implement easily in a classroom as an individual activity or remotely as a take-home activity to do over Zoom or video conference of your choice, or even have the kids do on their own without additional adult supervision other than a lesson plan that you've given them. Because I know that's every situation is now so different for teachers depending on your city, your state, and even your week that you're in, as we're finding out here in beautiful Wisconsin, that yeah, things change quickly for teachers, and flexibility is kind of the key of doing a lot of STEM activities, especially with everything going on, as you all know. So it's going to be a while before things level out and stabilize, but we like our paper circuit stuff because it's very flexible, much like us. So before we forget, we always want to make sure we point out the wonderful social media links that you can find out more information about NASCO Education, the resources, lessons, classes, and of course, materials that they have. If you have any very specific NASCO questions, please put a message in the chat window. Jordan is watching and standing by to answer those questions for you on there. He can definitely give you some more like pricing information, all the other fun stuff. I know if you have questions about buying things, Jordan's the guy to talk to. He can definitely help you out, or you can call NASCO directly. They have very nice people there, also in Wisconsin. There we go. Thanks, Pete. Oh, yeah. So I got Pete over here. He's producing this next to me, so I do reference him frequently over off screen. There he is, disembodied hand of Pete. But we're going over 3 different activities today. Both simple, intermediate, and advanced activities, but in general, things that range from grades 4th grade up through, say, 9th or 10th grade. A lot of the things we do can easily be scaled up or down depending on your classroom needs, just by changing a little bit on the lesson plan or how that lesson is implemented in your own classroom. Lastly, but not leastly, Jordan is going to put an email address in the chat window. We're going to give away some of our really, really cool nylon conductive tape we're going to be using today. If you've been somebody who's used copper foil tape in the past for circuit projects, this stuff is the bee's knees. It's our maker tape sold at NASCO. It's great. It's nylon. It's pretty much indestructible. You have to cut it with the scissors. You can't rip or tear it, which means you can put it on fabric, windows, walls, fake green screen backgrounds, and it won't tear. It'll bend, fold. It's just pretty much indestructible. Makes it really, really, really great for doing all sorts of circuitry activities because of the flexibility it provides on building surfaces, as well as being able to do far more complicated things if you want to, which will be showing off today. Things you can't do with copper foil. Hey, Pete, do we have a graphics to explain how much we enjoy copper foil?
Copper foil, let's see. I'm sure there's a picture in here.
There we go. No copper foil. We have a graphic. Figured we use it. Okay. Anyway, on that fun note, let's get on with the project. So we're gonna switch to our overhead camera. Yay. And seriously, if you have any questions or comments, please throw them up on that chat window. We're happy to answer them on screen as we're doing activities, because that's what we're here for. It's part of that whole live aspect of NASCO and these really nice streaming lesson plans, workshops that they're doing. There we go. I've got words this afternoon on a Wednesday, rainy Wednesday in Wisconsin. So first and foremost, what is paper circuits? Well, paper circuits is a kit we sell through Nasco. Nasco has a couple different versions of this. We have a small classroom set. We have just tape by itself. And we also have a big classroom set, which has 120 LEDs in it, 130 feet of tape, 40 batteries, basically enough activities to do 40 plus projects with materials involved for $100 retail. I believe that's pretty sure that's what Nasco is still selling it at these days. But the material comes with a couple rolls of this tape. It's great, our big jumbo LEDs. And we have heaps of resources that Nasco also hosts on their website. We're always producing more paper circuits activities and projects for free because we always want to make sure we're expanding these activities to meet the needs, ever-changing needs of our users. And plus, they're fun. So we like to do that. So in our kits come with pretty much everything you need except for scissors and paper. So we figure as a teacher, you have both of those. So let's get on and make a simple project. And so in general, paper circuits is, is using conductive tape, LEDs, and batteries to make simple circuits on paper, or really any material. Cardboard's great to use it on, poster board, a wall or window, because our nylon tape works really great on all sorts of surfaces. So you could do these paper circuits activities on a window. But it's meant to be very hands-on, very simple, and also very easy to troubleshoot as a teacher doing something like this with a class of 30 kids, because we've been there before. Nothing's more fun than watching a room full of 30 middle school kids have a horrible time. So we like to make sure that our lesson plans and our activities are set up very, very well directions-wise and lesson plan-wise, so that everyone's having a good time. They walk away learning something and walk away with a smile, and that they're interested in doing future activities. So kind of if you ever go to a teaching conference, you probably have somebody there doing a simple conductive tape activity with a battery, an LED, and a greeting card. That's fun. We try to stay away from the basic greeting card thing. Those are great around Halloween or the winter holiday season, just because there's so many red-nosed reindeers and pumpkins you can light up. But the rest of the year, we like to do some other different projects to really change things up and expand just options. So I'll put a couple things aside here because I'll need those later. And first and foremost, I can show off one of my favorite activities, one of our oldest activities, actually. It's our dinosaur. Ooh. Thanks, Pete, for those sound effects. I don't know if they were working last time, so people might not be able to hear the sound effects Pete's throwing through there. So this is one of the very simple paper craft projects that we have documented. So we have a bunch of different dinosaurs. We're using a color changing LED, just naturally changes color. That's in all the kits we have. Oh, there we go. But the dinosaur is a really great example of being able to have a bunch of different kids make the exact same project, but it's each unique to them. So on one hand, we have our T-Rex here with his little tiny binder clip hands with directions and whatnot. Oop, there we go. But we also have several other dinosaurs as well. So if you're running this activity, you just have the different templates and materials on a table. You can make a pterodactyl, I can make a T-Rex. Pete over here can make himself a plesiosaurus, which I believe is actually one of the things we have.
I think it is.
It's a water dinosaur, an ocean-going creature. And all materials are the same, it's just everyone's making their own version. Heck, you can make a purple T-Rex, I can make a orange T-Rex. It doesn't matter. It's the same learning objectives, the same outcomes, and the same activity, just a little bit more personalized, because we all like when things are personalized. I like wearing black shirts on video day. Other people enjoy wearing, not black. So we're going to show you how to do that. So first and foremost, with a dinosaur project like this, you have to cut out the template. That's pretty easy. I have a bunch of all the different pieces cut out. We're just not going to do them all. And we're going to show you how to make that basic paper circuit, because this actually is a two-sided project. And that's why I kind of like it, because it shows kids there's more than one side. You have your negative side and you have your positive side, and we just use our tape to hook those together. By the way, teachers, raise your hand if you've done this before, which you can't because we're on video. So if you've done paper circuits projects before, look on the Nasco website. If you have other paper circuits materials, you can most certainly use those materials with these activities. And then later you can come back and get some more. Now the only downside of using heavier paper like we have here is LED legs don't always stick through. So I like to use a safety pin every now and then to poke a hole through things. I'll be using that every now and then. It doesn't come with our kits, but yeah, I just hate to break things on camera.
Paperclip can work too.
Paperclip, there we go. Paperclip works really well.
Yeah.
Just something you can poke through. We use heavy cardstock in our videos and samples because they look better on camera. So we're gonna poke a hole here and put the long leg, which is positive, through this hole. And we have the negative leg, which is a short leg, stick up here. We're just gonna clamp down on this other side too, so that the LED is held in place. Ta-da! You have just done the hardest part of this project, if you're doing this with us. I'm pretty sure, Pete, they can't hear the sound effects. I can hear them that you're doing. I think we had that issue last time.
Reaction I have.
All right, great. And so we're gonna cut a piece of maker tape. I'm just gonna cut an extra long one here to make my life a little easier. And I'm gonna start on the back side. Now our directions, which lay this out very nicely in picture format, state that we have to come down, over, and around. And something you can do with our maker tape, but you can't do with copper foil, because copper foil is just structurally weak. You look at it sideways from across the room and it'll break. That's fine, because it's just been a really easy to use on our own kids in our own classrooms, but this tape is way better. It's also conductive on top and bottom, so I can just lay my tape over the LED leg here and I've made a solid electrical connection. I can also do, my favorite thing to do, a right angle turn. Now you don't have to. Most kids just tend to cut the tape off and then overlap it to make a solid connection, but I like to do a right angle turn because I do this a lot. And then I have plenty of tape here. I'm just gonna cut off, ta-da, and I'm gonna do make sure I'm doing my directions correctly. There we go. I'm gonna do the exact same thing over here. And again, our direction page shows how to do this. Down to the spot right yonder. Cut. I'll save you for later, Mr. Maker Tape.
Wow.
I know. Waste not, want not, Pete.
Right.
Important things to know.
Teachers can't be wasting time.
No, they can't.
No.
I think they'd be wasting, or I don't know. I've been a teacher for a while. Can't waste much. Am I overlapping enough here, or is my battery dead? Or did I do the horrible and make things backwards?
Can you just open that thing?
I think my battery's dead. Let's open a fresh one. Who knows how long this has been on this table? That's basically it. That's literally the dinosaur project. You add embellishments on it. We have tons of different little paper crafts like this for holiday events as well, especially like with Halloween coming up this month. If you need a last minute arts and crafts Halloween project, there you go, guys. There you go, fresh battery. And we just embellish it. So that's literally it for a paper circuits kind of simple go-to arts and crafts project. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I'm sorry, Randolph, the copyright-free reindeer, is on our website. We have and also Nasco has those on their site. We have lots of different templates for doing simple stuff like this because they're fun. Now you can take the same approach too and say put it on a shirt or a jacket or a hat or some other fabric, because this maker tape goes on and comes off fabric really easily. It is just nylon tape. So those things work really, really easy as quick and easy arts and craftsy fun activities to do. And that is pretty good to do. Sometimes you want to kill some time. Sometimes you want to do something arts and festive that also links to science. Here you go. It's $1 or so per child per activity to make one of these things. And if they mess up really, really, really badly, because every now and then you got that one kid, they're going to mess up. Take the LED and the battery off, give them more paper, you're good to go. You're at a couple cents worth of tape. No harm, no foul. They can still have fun. It's something they can take home to show mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, and say, hey, I made this. This is how it works. And we always say 4th grade and up because small parts, small batteries, choking hazard. Don't want that. But 4th grade and up too, they have the dexterity to do this kind of activity. So there you go. This is a very simple, like low level, just kind of fun arts and crafts paper project. So we're gonna put this to the side because we're done. That's it. That's making a dinosaur. The hardest part is cutting out the stuff. And that's what we're really trying to hope we can instill in the kids, is the hardest part is cutting the paper out. The rest of this is easy. NascoEducation.com. You can find this template and more. Probably the plesiosaurus as well. So let's move on to something a little more complicated, a little more middle school, if you will. So this is a robot vacuum that we made because we're too cheap to buy a real robot vacuum. We made our own. Ooh, robot vacuum. This is also a very simple project to do. And it's a very simple project that has some real world applications for motion, movement, degrees of movement, interaction between motion and power, conversion of energy. There's the key word I'm looking for. Energy conversion between a chemical battery to electrical to magnetic to motion. Oh yes, you've got 4 different types of energy conversion there. This is our robot vacuum. We sometimes call it a Vroomba, but this is a very simple vibration papercraft project using a self-sticking vibrating motor, a battery. We have a blinking LED on there for good measure, as well as some maker tape. Now we have many different versions of vibrating moving projects. We have a whole range of what I call paper dolls or robot buddies. They're literally just a little rectangle template you can add things to and embellish depending on the time of year. But it's a little more complicated, a little more older kid, as we've all been there. But they're also very fun, very straightforward activities that the kids can still take home as well. And the vibrating motor really brings in a different aspect to that. These templates and more, Nasco Education. And before you forget, if you haven't done so, Jordan has put in the chat window about free tape giveaway. We'll be picking some people to give free rolls of tape to. Make sure, I don't think that's the right email address. Is it?
What they posted there.
I don't remember what Jordan posted. I can't read that window that far away.
That's what it is.
Oh, it is. Email Jordan, be like, hey Jordan, what about that free tape? And we'll get like 5 people will get a free roll of tape from us. Then you can use it and have fun with that tape, or just put it on your dog because you might have a dog. So let's make this project up. As always, the hardest part about this project is cutting out the template, which we have a nice big template right here. You can cut out both with ink on it and without ink, so you can decorate it if you want. So we just have a blank one. I like doing this because I'm too lazy to draw on camera. And of course, directions are actually printed on the sheet here, as well as a template on the Vroomba. Now, the cool thing about our maker tape is we can actually do something really fun of making a on and off switch, which you can't typically do. I keep saying actually. There's a little piece of paper here. We have some maker tape on. It acts as a pressure fit switch, kind of a little pull tab like you find a lot of electronics. So you can put it in, you bridge the gap that we have built right here into our circuit, and turns it on. Pull it off, turns it off. A great way to turn things on and off without having to take your battery on and off as well. So let's make this really quickly. And now, Pete, I think I might need you know what, we're not even gonna worry about the X-Acto knife on this because it'll take a little bit. The X-Acto knife will split out right here for your maker tape. There's probably a full video of us making this on our and Nasco's website. So let's get this little guy made up. First and foremost, because I'm using really thick paper here, I'm gonna poke my holes where my LED should go. Don't forget, if you have questions or like, hey guys, that looks kind of cool, comments, we do appreciate them. So throw them in the chat window and we'll get there. We've got a naturally blinking red LED. It's just an LED, you add power and it blinks. They're really kind of fun, like those color changing LEDs in our other paper circuits kits. They're really fun to use for certain things, especially like decoration projects. So I'm just gonna stick that there, and I'm going to stick my legs through here. My dog is below this desk making groaning dog sounds, so I apologize if the microphone picks that up. We're gonna take the long leg as it's labeled here to one side and the short leg to the other, because that's positive, negative. That's a great concept to teach kids doing paper circuits, is positive and negative. 2 very good vocab words. Also, short circuit's another good one. So if you're doing like 4th graders, here's 3 terms to know. We used to do that with our 2nd grade buddies when I taught 8th grade. We've got these nice little self-sticking vibrating motors. Now these come in our origami circuits kits, which Nasco carries. So essentially, we take out a bunch of LEDs and instead give you vibrating self-sticking motors. Those are $125 retail on the Nasco website. There's 2, a big version, a small version, but these little self-sticking motors are great for any sort of papercraft project or really anything we want a motor to stay placed without having to use tons of glue. So we're the old self-sticking motor. So we're gonna stick this little guy down. Self-sticking motor. And we're just gonna run these wires off to the side. Now, if I was gonna do this as a full project, I would use an X-Acto knife, put a slit here so I can make a little pull tab. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you totally can. Got myself some more maker tape. And we're gonna be doing, laying a little bit of tape here today. Hey Pete, what's our time?
It's 3:19 right now.
Perfect. All right, we're going to get through everything in that appropriate time scale. We have one more project after this too. We have a dark detecting circuit, which is a bit more advanced circuit using transistors. So we're just going to show you one little tip here on using maker tape, and then we're going to move on because you get where I'm going with this Roomba thing, I think. So, like our maker tape projects before, we're just running the tape over the top of our component. And we're going to go to the middle of our battery, where our battery is going to be here in the center, and we're going to cut. And this is the fun part. I say this fun because I like fun. We're going to take this piece of maker tape I saved from before. We're going to make a little loop out of it, a plastic tape loop to stick something to the wall. because our maker tape is conductive on top and bottom, we can, oh, there we go. Pete has the graphic. We can actually do a little tape loop connector, there we go, to connect our line of tape down here to our battery. So I can go like put this down here, ta-da, put my battery on top, ta-da, and now I have a solid connection that won't fall off. It's a great way to make a battery holder anywhere. We use the same approach when we do a non-sewing light up bracelet using felt, maker tape, and an LED and a battery. We do this all sorts of our projects. It just works very, very well. And then the other aspect of it is too, we just run tape up and then over the top of the battery to make that second connection. So it's all held in place, as you can see right here. So that's doing this Roomba, I'm sorry, robot vacuum for Roomba. Let's copyright iRobot. They're nice. They've emailed us about this because they thought it was cute. They're good people. Send us a free Roomba, please. So that's it. So we have a ton of these different vibrating papercraft activities. Both of these things, again, very easy for kids to do at home by themselves with a pair of scissors and the parts you give them. So definitely want to use that kind of activity, these kind of plans, if you want to be doing STEM activities remotely with kids. Also good for libraries or other just remote learning in general, because scissors is all you need, especially if you're wanting to do things on nicer cardstock. Just give them the template when you're sending materials home on a like little bit thicker piece of paper. You're good. And my dog's below me groaning. Office dogs, they love to groan. Last but not least, we're going to take this up to a higher level. This would be your like middle school, high school level. We've got ourselves a fun transistor, a resistor, and a light detecting resistor, and an LED. There we go. And we can actually do more complicated circuits in a format like this. And we're actually going to try to zoom in a little bit here too, because there we go. Transistors are fun. You can make things interactive. We have several of these advanced paper circuits activities and lessons where kids learn how to make interactive circuits. Again, we're doing the tape loop down here. We've got a transistor, a resistor, light detecting resistor, and this is basically your standard garden light circuit where you put your hand over the light detecting resistor, the LED turns on. And since our maker tape can easily tape things down, it's another of those projects that you couldn't do with copper foil, but you can do with our maker tape, because when it comes down to it, these parts are pretty darned inexpensive. We include them in the wonderful custom stem bags that Nasco has from us, and actually as a take-home material, because these are great in middle school, high school. They're real circuits. They're more difficult things, but the kids can really get the whole like I'm doing something more adult level, even with conductive tape. But we're avoiding doing that horrible aspect of using breadboards, because I hate using little breadboards. I've been there in a classroom. They're obnoxious. So the big thing is just lay your parts down and then add tape, and that's how it works. So we're gonna just kind of put this together right now. And another pitch here for everybody, make sure to email Jordan, because we're giving away some rolls of maker tape. So email him like, hey Jordan, give me some tape please, you silly Wisconsin man you. So probably haven't. So really we're just laying down parts like before and taping them in place. Ta-da, with a battery. And that's it. Probably should have brought a completed one over to show it off, shouldn't I, Pete? We got like boxes full of like examples. We do a lot of live streaming of projects, but that's it. And the best part of this is too, since we have several different activities like this, that especially for that take-home STEM bag Nasco has of ours, that you can have the kids reuse these parts. So if you're doing a remote learning activity, okay, they do this. Well, take off your transistor, use it for the next lesson. They can still put it back on there later if they want to, but you can reuse those parts over and over again, and just peeling off the tape or pulling the part off. And so the kids can do multiple things with the same batch of materials. But also, again, too, if you're troubleshooting via video chat like this, it's really easy to look at this right here and say, hey, Timmy, or Billy, or Susan, or Sally, little Ted, I don't know, whoever named whatever kids' names are, and see what they've done and say, hey, let's troubleshoot that together. Is your LED backwards? Is your transistor placed wrong? Because there's really only one way to put the transistor. And really, actually, two things would be wrong. Somehow the transistor is messed up a bit. LED might be backwards, and maybe your battery might be upside down. It's easy to go through and do that. And we do have lesson plans for home use and for classroom use along with this activity. It's a nice way of leveling things up to bring in a bit higher things. We use our maker tape with Arduinos and microbits as well. It's a really great way of just quick and easy and simple go-to projects without really having to be bogged down with electronics troubleshooting. So we cannot talk up enough our paper circuits and the fun that is our maker tape. Make sure I'm in frame here. There we go, maker tape, paper circuits. So talk to Jordan about that. But if anybody has any questions, now is the time to throw it our way. Seriously, questions, people. Don't be silent. Never known teachers to be quiet during a workshop before. If you're a teacher, you know what I'm talking about. We don't usually stop talking when we're out in the world. So good times. So yeah, paper circuits kits. Nasco has them, a couple different versions. And I think is that exactly half an hour, Pete?
It's 3:25.
Oh my gosh. Like
No
25.
questions yet.
Oh, are you on the right tab that says group questions?
Well, I have questions.
I don't know. I'm not on
the chat.
Mm.
The handouts are.
All the handouts are there too. Okay, so Jordan has all the handouts that are there. So there's a bunch of stuff. And NASCO has a far, far more of our resources as well up there. But if you have any questions about the stuff you've seen here today, make sure to either one, email Jordan at NASCO. Same thing with if you want to, possibly get a free roll of tape. If you have any questions about purchasing, talk to him. But if you have any questions that you want him to forward to us, we're happy to help answer those, especially with implementing paper circuits activities in the classroom or remotely. So we've been doing all summer is giving advice to teachers and librarians around the country on best ways to do this when you can't actually have face-to-face interaction with students, or when you're trying to do a classroom that is separated by large plastic sheets or acrylic. Yeah. It's been an interesting year, but paper circuits makes things very flexible, very affordable, and just fun for all the kids because they can make interesting, weird things. Well, last thing, one of my favorite weird projects to do with like the origami circuits kit is a little bit of maker tape, a self-sticking motor, and a Dixie cup. And you make an angry vibrating Dixie cup. It's something we've done at workshops before because it's a really weird project. It takes like 2 seconds to do in a workshop with teachers. There are a couple of googly eyes on that and everyone has a good time, especially with kids who have done some other paper circuits activities, because at that point, if they've done 1 or 2 things already, give them the parts. Here's all the materials you need. Here is the challenge. It doesn't matter how you make the activity. The rubric is, does it vibrate? Can you somehow turn it on and off? And did you at least spend 2 seconds decorating it? Yeah, that one kid, you'll do the bare minimum decorating. That's fine. So that's the rubric. Oh, probably, did you poke somebody with a pair of scissors as a negative point on a rubric? Got to have that on there. But it's a very fun way to watch the kids figure out their own design, because there's no wrong way to hook up a vibrating motor and maybe an LED to a Dixie cup. It's more difficult than we did here, especially if they made a couple projects. But seeing them figure out their own way, you'll get a classroom full of kids doing it wildly different from each other, but they all work. And that's the thing with electronics. Sometimes there's 50 ways of doing it. What's the most efficient way for the person doing it? If you're a lazy person, it might be this way. If you're a super exact person who has had things very nicely done, maybe it's this way. If it's for production line, if you're a company making something, whatever way works best through machinery. So watching the kids make it different ways really helps them show off those skills and have a little bit of creativity on a project that's just silly and simple. So the angry vibrating Dixie cup is one of my more favorite go-to weird projects because it's googly eyes on a Dixie cup and you make a little weird face on it. But yeah, it takes like an inch of maker tape to build it, depending on how you do it. So anyway, that's the workshop for today. NASCO has far more of these engaging workshops with cool people like us, Josh and Pete from Brown Dog Gadgets, showing off fun activities and resources and kits that NASCO sells. Hey, Pete, would you flash me back to the other screen?
You want to go?
Yeah, that's because let's stop holding this. But yeah, again, if you have questions, email. NASCO has links, actually with those social media links, Pete, one last time.
Right.
Ta-da. But definitely sign up for NASCO's mailing list, the Nasco Education, and make sure I am for anything on my list of important details to say. Oh, I always forget to say this. Jordan's going to talk about there's a NASCO STEM grant program that they're putting out there to help out teachers, especially during this. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Pete. Great. And if you want to go to nascoeducate.com for those resources and materials, we'll sign up for more information about all this stuff and the grant. Yay. Yeah, we're really happy to be here, and we hope you've learned a little something about conductive papercraft projects. Conductive tape, such a really cool maker tape. Seriously, get a sample. Once you go maker tape, it's hard, can't go back to copper foil. It really is. It changes the way you do all sorts of fun projects, and it greatly expands the usefulness of conductive tape as a classroom learning tool and medium. So that's it. That's our show for the day. I think Jordan's gonna take over now, right, Jordan?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Josh. We did have some questions come up while we were going, so I'm going to list them out for you.
Okay. Oh,
Does
the questions.
Nasco carry any of these projects related to how the human body uses electrical symbols?
No, that's a good lesson plan idea, though. We'll have to think something up for that, Jordan. No, seriously,
Yes,
we
I know.
we get questions all the time like, hey, have you done this yet? I'm like, not yet, but we will because you asked. That's a really good question. How the body uses electrical signals to, I think there's something we can put together for that. That's a really good question. If that teacher wants to send you some more details about maybe what their learning objectives, state requirements might be for that, or just what they want to see an outcome of, we're happy to put something together. That's not a question we've gotten before, but if there's standards that we need to hit with that kind of thing, we're happy to put something together. So that's a really good question. That actually sounds like a fun activity.
Yes,
Good
absolutely. So
challenge.
I'll definitely follow up with that customer and we'll definitely connect with them. Another question too that came up, are the templates included in the kit?
No, so here's the thing. So in our little box here, which is going to be green screened, there we go. Too many lights. So we only have so many things in the boxes. We like to put a ton of digital resources. So for like our paper circuits activities, we have, gosh, over 100 different things you can do with one of the kits. We're always putting out more things all the time. We just put something out yesterday on our website. So we don't tend to put any printed resources in the box themselves because there's just so much we can do, both also some things in English and Spanish as well. We put a gigantic book in, but all the resources we have are free whether or not you use our products. I know Nasco has a bunch of them on their website. You can talk to Jordan if you want to get access to more of them, but they're always free and out there. And that way we can keep it easy, keep things updated, change things as need be, and also save paper because we hate shipping paper around. But it's just a really easy way to let teachers browse and see video clips and the templates and lesson plans up on the various websites for that. So nothing's actually in the box, but it's all digital, just print, since you'll be printing up a bunch anyway for a class.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. And I also wanted to say too, if you look at the control panel as well on the handouts, I did upload some information. There was about 4 different lessons I uploaded there, along with some paper craft designs and projects, some PDFs there. So some different things that Josh did and some added things as well. We know you got the jack-o'-lantern on there. We got the penguin,
We've got a bunch of Halloween, like Halloween and Christmas. Those 2 time periods are like the most light up activity project stuff of the year. So really, Q4 is where all the fun light up things happen, because it's really easy to add things, and we do a lot of like at the Rudolph type projects, red nose, paper craft things, because they're fun, they're easy, and it's really holiday specific. And making a lot of project is just so different from what most kids are used to doing. But there's really no end to what you do. One of the projects I like to have older kids try out, I always suggest this to teachers when you're talking about like especially 8th grade through like 10th grade, is have kids wire up a house, build a house out of a cardboard box, like build a couple levels. That's not tough to do. Get a couple cardboard boxes and wire that thing up with switches you've made yourself, maker tape, and LEDs. You can wire up an entire home as if you would a real home with maker tape in 3 dimensions in cardboard. It's easy to have the kids do the work entirely on their own, making their own switches out of paper or other materials. Shoot, a brass brad and a paper clip make a great little 3-way switch. One of the switches we have up on our written up in directions, like here's a bunch of different switches. But that's a really great way to do something that is thinking in 3 dimensions, using circuits in a real life situation. Because I know the kids here at the Milwaukee area technical college, they have an entire like warehouse area, which is just a frame of a home where they just wire it up all the time. They're literally wiring up a fake home in a building. And that's what you're doing on a small scale with cardboard homes. Kind of like people used to use copper foil tape to wire up doll houses for lights. That's apparently a thing people did. You don't have to use copper foil because it's really tough to use in that situation. It's not easy because it breaks so easily, but the maker tape makes it really, really simple to do that. Or make a wearable activity, make an outfit that lights up, add a bunch of LEDs onto it, especially for holiday events or school events. Simple and easy to do. Or even better, I like to have kids build circuits on walls, on poster board, on windows, on blackboards or whiteboards, because that maker tape just peels right off of a nice, anything like hard, smooth surface, like wall, window, whatnot. It'll peel off. Build circuits up there and explain it. I used to have kids when I had a classroom do circuits on our whiteboard and then write all the notes and information on there. Here's the 3 vocab words we're using. Here's our circuit. You can walk up and touch it and use it. and it works on the whiteboard. When that group was done, we'd peel it off, and the next day a different group would do theirs. Simple, easy, wide application use, and the kids are doing all the work on their own in a way that is very kid-friendly and hands-on. So anyway, there's endless possibilities to use with tape. It's so easy and so inexpensive too. It's the easiest and most inexpensive way to have kids do circuitry stuff in the classroom, especially because they get to take it home, which means a lot more to them when they're done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thanks everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Josh, for presenting. My name is Jordan Nelson. I'm one of the customer engagement managers with Nasco, and I was your host today. And I want to give a shout out to all you educators out there who are still making it happen for students. You're awesome. Any last minute questions, if you have, make sure to put those in the question box. We'll answer them. Otherwise, if you're anxious to connect with Nasco outside this webinar or event, you want more information about our grant program, feel free to reach out to us at engage@nascoeducation.com. I put that out there, and it's also up on the screen. And then 2, make sure to fill out that survey at the very end. We always like your feedback and hearing from you. And if there's other different topics that you want us to cover, feel free to let us know, and we'll put that into our different episodes. So this is going to be your weekly episode. Stay tuned for next week for our 3rd episode. It was a hit. Josh, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Pete, for being in the background, doing everything you do as well. And then we'll make sure to see everybody. I don't see any more questions. So thanks again for everybody attending. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.